get sharing.
Storm hunters, fight or flight. The third part of our Tornado Alley series begins in less than 30 seconds. But first, a quick look across the country through the overnight. Clear skies for many in the east. Great viewing conditions for the supermoon. Same thing goes for the prairies. We're still above our average temperatures, but for BC, the wet weather is going to continue through the overnight. You'll get a break on Monday. Now, in terms of your temperatures, still above seasonal for the prairies, but a bit cooler. A warm up is moving into eastern Canada, but so too is some active weather. Here's Storm Hunters. Hope you're enjoying Storm Hunters fight or flight thus far. It concludes in 30 seconds. But let's talk about the temperature trend for the start of the week. Near seasonal values for parts of eastern Canada. Cooler in the prairies, but still above seasonal. It is going to change by the end of the week. A big trough is digging in. Now through the overnight, Calgary sitting at 4, Winnipeg and parts of central, northern Saskatchewan, a bit of a wide swath of fog. Clear skies from southern Ontario into the Maritimes. Great viewing conditions for the supermoon, sunshine, and above seasonal temperatures into the start of your work week.
Well, your Weather Watch story continues right now. Kelly and Michelle here with you. Some of our developing stories that we're working on. Earthquake lights, a pretty interesting phenomena that we've got a contest that we're going to tell you about to head on down to Orlando.
Yeah, and let's take you there right now. So you're looking at footage from Orlando. This is the Boggy Creek airboat ride. I was actually just there, Kelly. If you saw the video of me where the alligator jumped behind me, well, that's where it happened. So you can experience that too.
You really did a good job at selling it. No, it's beautiful down there.
The epicenter of which was just to the north of Christchurch. That happened Monday morning local time.
Now back to our weather story. Our temperature pattern as we head into late next week. Arctic chill expected across the prairies.
So let's start off in Ontario. Southern Ontario, another day above seasonal, sunshine across the board. We do have a little bit of additional cloud cover to the north, maybe a chance of showers as well, but we aren't watching for that system to move through southern Ontario until Tuesday night. Very weak. The bigger story is this Colorado low that's developing midweek. By the end of the week, it is going to slowly make its way into Canada. Now for the prairies, northwestern Ontario, this is likely going to be a snow event, but because it's so mild in southern Ontario, this will be rain and wind. How mild? Well, I want to show you the 7-day forecast just to give you an idea of what it's going to be right across southern Ontario as that southerly flow ramps up ahead of that system. Friday, temperatures mid to high teens. It's also mild in Atlantic Canada. A clear day Monday, some sea-effect showers for western Newfoundland, but then on Tuesday, we do have a system moving in. This is also going to bring rain. You have to go way north of the St. Lawrence to see any snowfall with this. Now, not a lot of rain associated, light winds, but we haven't seen a major system for Atlantic Canada in a while. We do have a system moving into the prairies as well. It's that same Colorado low that's helping cool your temperatures down. It's been record-breakingly warm over the past couple of weeks, but there's your cooler air. You couple that with the Colorado low, and of course, we're dealing with snow. Right now, your local forecast, and then in Force of Nature, more details. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for tuning into the Weather Network. I'm Michelle Mackey.
And I'm Kelly Sonnenberg. We're going to start off with this beautiful shot from London, Ontario. You can see a little bit of social media. What were you up to this weekend? So we're going to head on over there right now.
Yeah, we got some great responses. Response number 1 goes to Tom Day Drive. Thank you, Tom, for the picture. Let's take it to our next photo, Kelly.
Duskton, beautiful shot right there. You can actually see the leaves are already coming off the trees.
And it certainly was a nice Sunday thanks to that ridge of high pressure, sunshine, a similar setup for the start of your week.
Now, Sunday and Monday, you have a chance to view the supermoon. So we want to see more of your supermoon photos. Send them into the Weather Network or also tweet us on social media.
Yeah, the supermoon hasn't been this close to the Earth since 1948. Incredible there. Enjoy that while you can, because a change is coming.
Yeah, we've got some snow on the way as we head through the week.
Well, let's start in the west, where there is some good news into Monday. You're going to get a break from the rain. Tuesday, even some sunshine. But then Tuesday evening, we are watching for yet another front to move into the BC coast. Your temperatures are cooling as well, so we'll be picking up on some high elevation snow. Also going to be cooling in the prairies, and you couple that with a developing Colorado low, and we could be getting into some snowfall. Now, the main area of concern as of right now is northwestern Ontario and southern Manitoba, on the northwestern flank of that low. However, this is likely to change It's all dependent on the track of this low, and we are still quite a few days out, so you'll want to keep it tuned into the Weather Network as we continue to follow it. But Ontario, this is looking fantastic. I mean, do I even need to say anything here? 12 degrees in Toronto. We should be around 7.5. That's our seasonal daytime high. It is going to be a brisk day, but because those winds are out of the southwest, that's what's helping bump our temperatures up. Tuesday is a similar setup, but then Tuesday through the overnight into Wednesday, a weak system is going to move through the Great Lakes Basin. Not a washout, light isolated showers, additional cloud cover. Then it clears out as we move into midweek. So before that Colorado low impacts southern Ontario on Friday, we don't have much active weather to speak of. It really is the temperature story. Speaking of which, a great day in Atlantic Canada. Sunshine for the most part. We do have some sea effect showers for western Newfoundland, places like Corner Brook, picking up on some of that. But as we move into Tuesday evening, that's when our next system is going to push in. And because it's so mild, this is going to be a rain event, widespread between about 15 and 30 millimeters. And then it's going to make its way into Newfoundland as we move into Wednesday and Thursday.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks for making us a part of your weekend. The weekend's almost over. Kelly and Michelle here with you. Let's talk about our top weather events we're following here at the Weather Network.
So we are still dealing with some showers for BC overnight, but into Monday we'll get a break. Wet weather is set to return to the coast.
Our freezing levels will be dropping, so it will get a little bit cooler by late week, but in contrast to the Great Lakes, temperatures will be going up. We had a couple, and we could be in the mid to high teens by late week.
And that means as the system approaches Atlantic Canada for midweek, and Wednesday into Thursday, Newfoundland, you'll be getting into some of that rainfall.
We're not expecting a lot of rain, about 10 to 20 millimeters of rain. The more impactful system we're watching with record heat, temperatures in the high teens, low 20s these last couple of weeks, but some areas could be struggling to break that freezing mark by late week.
So we do have that Colorado low you mentioned. Still too early to talk about the exact track, but the area of concern, southern Manitoba into northwestern Ontario. But Kelly, a different story for southern Ontario.
Yes, temperatures are going to be quite mild, so no snow in the forecast through southern Ontario. We'll be dealing with a little bit of rain. Here's how you can connect with us on social media, on Twitter. We've got your local forecasts right now.
Hey there, you're watching the Weather Network. I'm Michelle Mackey, joined by meteorologist Kelly Sonnenberg. Hope you had a great weekend. The icing on the cake, overnight, we've got a supermoon.
Yeah, Sunday night you can check out the supermoon, and if you can't get outside on Sunday night, you'll have a second opportunity on Monday night as well.
So that, of course, is one of our developing stories.
Weather Network, we'd love to see your shots of the supermoon.
The last time we had a supermoon this close to the planet was 1948, so don't miss it. Here's a look at our cloud forecast across the country overnight. Southern, our friends in BC. So maybe our friends in BC would like to win this trip.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, now let's talk about our weather story. Temperature pattern for the start of the week. In the prairies, it's going to change as we begin to see that ridge of high pressure break down, allowing cool air out of the north to filter in.
We'll have a potent Colorado low that we're keeping an eye on as we head into mid to late week.
All right, Kelly, let's begin in BC. We have some good news. Into Monday, we are watching for a clearing, even some sunshine for some areas. But we have seen some rainfall warnings for western Vancouver Island. And then as we look ahead to Tuesday night, that's when our next system is going to impact the coast. But let's take a look ahead, because we have a pretty powerful system that's set to affect the prairies into eastern Canada. And it's all thanks to this strong area of energy that we have, and it's going to spawn a Colorado low. On the northwestern side of this low, we are watching for a wide swath of snow, up to 15 centimeters of it, plus some very gusty winds. At this time, the track is still uncertain, but it's looking like southern Manitoba and northwestern Ontario are in the bullseye for some of that snow. But it really is going to be a rain event further to the south, rather, but Monday afternoon, looking fantastic. It is going to be brisk, but 12 degrees in Toronto, not too bad, right? Tuesday, a similar story, but through the overnight into pre-dawn Wednesday, a very weak front is likely to bring us some scattered showers, some additional cloud cover, but then it will clear out as we look ahead to Thursday. Long range, your temperatures are going to remain above seasonal right through the end of the week. Above seasonal as well for Atlantic Canada, and sunshine in the Maritimes, but for Atlantic Canada, at least western Newfoundland rather, that's where we are still affecting some of those sea effect showers throughout the day on Monday. The next system for Atlantic Canada is a coastal low. It's going to move into the Maritimes through the overnight Tuesday, bringing a wide swath of about 30 millimeters. It continues through Wednesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday in Newfoundland, you'll be getting into some of that wet weather as well. But let's take a look across the country. Monday morning, waking up to temperatures already above where you should be for your seasonal daytime highs in the prairies.
New Zealand, this was early Monday morning after a 7.8 magnitude shook the region.
Yeah, the epicenter just 95 kilometers north of Christchurch. A powerful initial shock, and there have been plenty of aftershocks. How scary that must be. Now, we talked briefly about the aftershocks. Some have been magnitude 5, and that's still a strong earthquake.
Yes, and we can expect these aftershocks to continue over the next couple days. And this is just a look at the past earthquakes that have struck New Zealand, the most recent one.
And that proved deadly. 185 people lost their lives. So Kelly, Ontario is looking spectacular for Monday. This is going to be a picture-perfect fall day. It is going to be brisk, yes. A lot of the leaves are beginning to fall from the trees, some of them looking pretty barren, but 12 degrees, I think, more than makes up for that. Now, as we move towards the end of the week, we are watching a system set to impact Ontario, and it begins in Colorado. It's what we call a Colorado low. It's going to track to the east, and on the northwestern flank of that low, we are expecting a wide swath of snow from southern Manitoba into northwestern Ontario. We are still quite a few days out, so the track could change, and so too could the precip type, depending on that. But for southern Ontario, looking like it should be a rain event. Here's how the 7-day forecast plays out, because what I want to show you is how warm it is going to be through the end of the week. Not just for Toronto, but for all of southern Ontario. 15 degrees on Friday, but those winds really ramping up before that system pushes in for the weekend. For Atlantic Canada, a pretty great day in store here. Sunshine, still dealing with some sea effect showers for parts of western Newfoundland, but the heavier rain that's expected for Newfoundland as we move into midweek. Here's what's happening. We have some energy off the coast. A coastal low is forming Tuesday night into Wednesday. It begins to impact the Maritimes, and then Wednesday into Thursday, it's going to impact Newfoundland. You have to go really far to the north to see any snow with that. It is going to be so mild. Chris St. Clair is going to join in next with the Long Ranger, but before we get you there,